everyone, Shannon here with Mixed Media Minnesota, and today we're back with our Mixed Media master board here, and we're going to try and add some color to it. So I pulled out some watercolors. We're going to play with those. I picked two colors of acrylic paint. These are just Arteza acrylic colors. I picked a pink and a light apricot, so we're going to water those down and play with those. I did pull out a Delusional ink spray. I'm not sure if we'll use this or not yet. I just pulled it out because of the color. I thought I was looking for if to me it looks like, you know, orangey, pinky, teal maybe with a little bit of black in there. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. Maybe we'll make a masterpiece, and maybe we'll make a disaster. Pulled out a tray, a paintbrush, and some water. I also have a water in a squirt bottle here. And then I pulled out my Stabilo brand Woodies. And I love these things, and we probably will use these, I'm thinking, for the dark, the top layer maybe. Like I said, don't know if we're going to make a mess or not, but we're going to give it a go anyways. Okay, so I hope you guys are all doing well. I am. I'm excited to try and make a mess here. So what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to start with the acrylic paint, and I'm just going to use a little tiny bit in here, not much at all to start, and then I'm just going to add the pink and the, what is that, like a apricot color, and then I just really water it down, and I'm going to move this off to the side here a little bit. I'm just going to squirt a bunch of water in each one of these. Okay, and then this is going to get wet. So after we're done adding the color, then I'm going to set it out to dry overnight again, and then we're going to come back and we're going to cut it apart. I might cut it apart into tag and journal card shapes after it's dry, and because I want to sew around them, and I don't sew on camera, so I might stitch around them and stuff, and then we'll come back and decorate them in part 3. But first we'll see if we can save it, or if we're going to destroy it by coloring it. I mean, I like it as it is. I could use it just as it is. It would be completely fine. But I just want to play with this and see what we can do with that. Okay, so I have this peach colored paint. I like to start with the lighter colors and then put the darker ones on top. It's kind of a little bit lumpy yet here, so I'm just going to mix that a little better. It's really runny. It's like liquid. And that's what I want, because I want it to run. I don't want to completely cover it. So what I'm going to do is, let's see here. I have a couple little baskets here, and I am going to kind of prop this up just because I want it to, like I said, run. So we're just going to kind of prop that up, and I hope you guys can still see that angled like that. And okay, so now we squirt water on it, and in the texture here, I'm just adding water to the cover, to the top. I want it to run, so a lot of times if you don't use enough water, you'll have issues with it. So I'm just going to kind of go with my color here and there and allow it to run through that texture and here and there. Not really painting, and if that happens like that where it doesn't really run, just go and add some water. It'll start moving. I'm just going to put a little all over the place and add it here and there just to get the color kind of throughout. And sometimes you end up not seeing your first color at all, but we won't know until we get it finished. So I'm just going to add some more water here. And then kind of tip it. I want it to run and move on there. So this masterboard is kind of a large area. Usually it's a smaller area that I'm working with, so I feel like I need to put a lot more on there. So I kind of like that color with it. It's, you know, kind of like the newspaper. It works with it, I think. We're gonna mix some. I'm gonna add a little bit more in here, I think. Okay, we're gonna kind of clean our brush here a little bit. And then we're going to mix up that pink. Just holding this cheap little tray here. There isn't move all over the place. Mixing that, trying to break that up a little bit and liquefy it. Okay, so we have that. Now we're just gonna kind of go and drop that here and there. I really like this pink color. I'm not really a pink person, but see, it kind of runs in those lines. That's what I'm trying to get it to do. There's no texture up here, but just kind of blopping some on there to get that color and just wet it a little bit. So you have to think when you're doing this, it's going to be cut up into all kinds of little pieces, so it's not like one big picture, you know, when you're doing it. So isn't that neat how it runs in between the swirls? I like that. Trying to get that to run down my the paper here where it overlaps. So I'm just gonna add a little water, kind of like that, and then just kind of again tip it up, get it to run, and twist it every which direction here. Okay, so I am going to put some in here. Okay, we'll rinse that brush out. Now I could dry between the layers with my heat tool, but I'm not going to do that. We're gonna use some of the watercolors, and then this is, I've just had this for a long time. It's I don't know what that says, but it's a watercolor set. So we're just gonna get those nice and wet. Let's see if we can move this way a little bit. Get myself boxed in here. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see what color is calling to me. Let's try this one here. I'm going to try something here. Okay, that doesn't work for me. Just adding some. We're going to have to go back with water and spray and get this wet. See, as we wet it, the first colors kind of run and fade a little more, but you'll still see some in there. It works best in the texture. That's why I like to use little pattern stencils. So by the time we're done, this will be sopping wet. When we cut these apart, we'll distress the edges of them with distress ink as well. So let's see, what other color are we seeing here? I'm thinking we're gonna try this pink ones. It's a little darker than the one we had. It's almost like a purpley pink. I'm liking the way it's looking. Sorry, it was quiet there. When I get painting, I don't know, get in my head and I forget that I'm recording here. I'm just playing. So I think we're gonna call that good with the pink. Gonna wet some of that. Now we're gonna shake that off. And if it's a little too bright when we're all, it will dry a little lighter, but if it's a little too bright on the end when we're done with it, we can go back and add a light coat of white gesso on it as well. I am going to flip it over on the towel here, and that'll take a bunch of the brightness off of it too. See, it dulls it a little bit there. Okay, so I'm gonna put these back. I don't know if I'm gonna add a whole bunch of the black in there. We're gonna try the crayons a little bit. I don't think we're gonna do very much. And how I like to use these is just get the end really wet here of the crayon and the water and just kind of let it drip. You'll see it kind of put the water on there and let it drip. And run in there, so. I get these on Amazon, and I think they'll last forever. I do really like them. They're kind of my go-to coloring thing. I use the black one a lot. And then another way you can do this here is like if we wanted to add, you know, here and there on the edges of the, I don't want to get too much on there, but then you just go and you can kind of move it around. I'm just following the paper lines here, and then you go ahead and you spray that and it'll kind of run and hold those lines. It's a little too dark there, so. So we're gonna go ahead and do that in a couple more spots. You can dip it in the water as well. It works best for me if it's drier, or I mean wetter when I put it on there. I'm just going here and there on some of our the edges of the paper. Then I'm shaking all of the excess off, and then I'm going to flip that down, pick that back up. Took a lot of the brightness off of it. I'm going to add a little bit of this here and there. Excuse me. I don't want to keep going. You can make it turn into what I call mud if you keep going. We're going to turn it this way. Add a little. Try and get that to run in the swirls there. Just kind of getting that really wet to get it to move. I don't like it as dark as it is. Okay. So we're gonna, I'm not sure if I want to add this color on here, but we're gonna give it a try just so you can see. So when I use these, I just spray it and over the texture. And I actually use the end of it. So like I'll just put drops on there from the tube in it. And it'll just kind of run, and then you spray that and it gets it to run. So I'll just do that in a couple spots here. I think we're making a disaster. But the sprays are quicker. Then I hold it up here and I'm going to spray it so it lightens. Okay, I think when we cut that up, it's going to look really neat. So I'm going to move all of this stuff, set it aside here. Just a light press on there. And there we have it. I don't really want to set the back on that towel because I don't want the back all messed up. Okay, so there we go. Now it needs to dry. It doesn't absorb as much because we have that clear gesso on there, but it's still damp. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to cut it up into tags and journal cards, and then we'll distress the edges and I'll stitch around them. And I'm thinking I may stitch them in black thread, and then we'll come and put some eyelets and toppers on them and decorate them, and then we'll have that complete. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Gets a little wet here and it's bubbly, but it will calm down. And definitely don't want to cut it now because it'll rip. It's really wet. Okay, so there's what we have with that. I'm just trying to think here. I should have started another one. But I think I'm just going to end the video here, and then when that dries, we'll come back with them, like I said. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.